surprised you've asked me this question about 20 times today, but um, Kiki is a mother who is fighting for the future of her, but her daughter. Um, and when we meet her, she's 1 year out of prison and then 1 year on a work release program. So she's trying to clean it up and start this new life, but a new clean life. And so she's fighting to earn back custody of her daughter. But like I said, build a nice, clean life, something that you can, live on and something that's sustainable. And yeah, she is definitely a person who takes risks and lives in the gray. But also, when we meet her, she's met with this opportunity to sort of fast track that new life, but not necessarily a clean life. So she's got to step back in without giving away too much of the story.
No,
She's got to
no,
step
no,
back
that's
in.
fine.
Yeah, she's got to step back into her old life in order to essentially burn it all down. And yeah, it's the one thing I really enjoyed, and it sounds silly, but I kind of have that like Ally McBeal. I never saw it, but like you play these things in your head, like I would do this, this, and this. And it was fun to get to kind of live that out a little bit. But really, it's just this woman fighting for her life, as the children say, fighting for her life and fighting for her daughter's life. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I suppose, Kacy, your sort of violent ex sort of lover,
Mhm.
played the role of Axar, played by James Oliver Wheatley. Before, do we get to see flashback scenes of bits and parts of your relationship? Maybe some of the friction, some of the tension, some of the things that led you to, dare I say, go separate ways?
There's a flashback that we see of their past, and actually you hear the flashback and you'll understand that when you watch it, but it's their violent past and their violent history. And it's a scene that also involves the daughter, and it's what she's listening to. And yeah, it's one of those things like for me when I actually saw it on camera and saw it on screen, I had a really like visceral response to again, we don't see the violence, and that's what I love about Robert, or our writer director. There's nothing gratuitous in this, and I appreciate that. But just to like hear the violence for me, it justified the things that Kiki does and she's about to do in this story. So yeah, the only little bit, they talk about their past and some of the stuff they've been through together as kids in the system. But yeah, on screen we see the beginning of and hear some of their relationship, and it's tough. I had a hard time with it, and harder than I thought I would. Like I said, in seeing it, and then to see the daughter's reaction to it. Yeah.
And dare I say, does James send an army of patrol, an army of goons after you, or is it a one-man sort of crusade? Is he hunting you sort of down in terms of that?
Um,
Or are
Actually,
you
I'd
hunting him
say
down?
I would say again without giving away too much, Kiki's kind of her one man
Yeah.
wrecking ball. But I will say kind of on the theme of you get what you give.
Mm.
And every action has a reaction and a consequence. And I feel like that's kind of what's missing in this world today is people not understanding everything you do, there is um gosh, there's consequences. And I do think that you see Axar's consequences. I mean, Kiki faces her consequences too, but I would say she's definitely more hands off. And you'll understand that when you watch it. But yeah, no, I definitely think Axar is he's doing what he needs to do to survive. And his whole goal is like, his goal in mind is I've got this heist, and once I'm past this, I'm clear. I'm over the bridge, I'm clear. And but you also realize like he's Kiki's ghost, he's that bridge to the past. So yeah, I feel like he does it to himself. Like he brings it on himself, but also Kiki is Kiki is researched and it's more than you would think. She definitely is smart and calculating. And again, she lives in the gray. There's some things I was reading the script and I was like, what? Like she did what? And then to see it play out on screen and then the entire thing and just how everything uh not really buttons on the end, but just how the story comes full circle. You're like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it's the choices you make and the calculations you take, and then is it worth the risk? And you can only hope it is, you
Yeah.
know? And then further, are you completely clear after all of that plays out? All of the choices you've made and you think you're good, but are you?
Mm. And Kacy Owens, are you one of those adrenaline stunt junkies? Do you like to do all your own sort of stunts? Are you engrossed in terms of all the hands-on
Like,
ammunition, all the hands-on artillery, or is there certain sequences you said, listen, I'd gladly listen, let the experts take over here and I'll do the close-ups and you can hog all the glory.
you know what? No, it's so funny. Long story short, our DP, Mark David, I love him. He's like a brother. And I basically got scooped up in this production because of Mark. He like sent this audition to me and he's like, hey, I'm DPing this project. He's also a writer and director. And I was sick. So I auditioned. I was like sick as a dog. But my very first project with him, I had to shoot a gun through the ceiling of this like makeshift bar. And I remember a couple of the actors like, you can't do that. And it was blanks, but it's like, it's a ceiling. So like there's still going to be an impact. And I remember thinking like I can't shoot this gun. And I've been skeet shooting. I I'm from Colorado. Like we grew up, shooting and but yeah, it was crazy because I remember shooting this gun in this first film with Mark and I was terrified. But you can see on film it's that boom, boom, boom. Like by the third shot, I'm like, yeah. With Burner, I'm reading the script. I'm like, oh man, that's like some fight scenes. And I was a little nervous, but there was no time for a stunt person for myself. Our stunt coordinator and director, Bobby Lane, and I love you, accidentally punched him in the nose. And I think that's the footage they go with because it looks so real. And every time I see it, I feel that punch on my hand and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I loved it. I loved it. The rolling around and the getting dirty. I love when I have dirt in my hair, but it was like rough and tumble. And after each scene, I was like, more. It's so crazy because you'd ask me, are you adrenaline junkie? I am not. If there is an amusement park, I will hold everyone's stuff. I'll take pictures from the sky. I'll hold your shoes. And I'm on the ground and I'm cool. I don't seek adrenaline, but there's something with fighting on set. That is so like freeing and it's fun. And especially within the parameters of like the stunt coordinators, like this is what you're doing this, this, and this. Okay. And then you can do these extra little things in there, but like here's your boundaries. And it's amazing. It's so freeing. You just get to be this caged animal that's got some rules. And I have to tell you, I love it. And I cannot wait to get to like fight in my next project. I know it sounds silly, but it was one of the most freeing things I'd done in like 10 years. I loved
Okay.
it.
And Kacy, where did you film Burner? Where did you shoot it?
So we filmed in LA, but I think actually we filmed in Alhambra. I had some friends watch this with me and they're like, that's the building in Alhambra. I was like, oh, okay, we shot in Alhambra, like a little like outside of Pasadena, LA, like a little nestled in there. And then we shot in, I always say it incorrectly, but Agua Dulce. I always want to
Okay.
say it how it's spelled, and it's this really cool, like very beautiful, dusty. Um, Gosh, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's northern Los Angeles, out north and outside of Los Angeles. And then we did a lot of the running exteriors in. I meant to look it up, and I can never remember the name to save my life. But yeah, we shot in LA and LA area.
And Casey, I suppose you've been attached to a good lot of projects in the past. What does it feel like when a project goes international, when you get to be seen by people, not just from the United States and Canada, but all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Europe, here in Ireland and the UK. Is that an extra thrill for an actress? I know, first of all, you want to conquer stateside, but the whole team of going beyond borders, dare I say, touching other places. Is that exciting for you?
Yeah, it really is. My mom is from Guam, and I know it's a U.S. territory, but it always is awesome when my family from Guam, my aunt's writing me about this. But I had a little role in the Terminator, Dark Fate that came out pretty much before the pandemic, and I had these really wonderful women in this like women's cinema club in South Korea, I guess Korea. They wrote me and they were just so it was such a cool positive experience and they were so supportive and I was like this is so cool. Um and you realize that film there's such an opportunity for positive and wonderful, I mean, just messages across the board to be spread through film. And it's so cool when you realize, like, wow, my face is being seen in these other places. And it's really humbling. And then the second thing for me that hits is kind of a fear, like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm doing this justice. I hope I'm representing. But yeah, it's so exciting. And I'm honestly grateful for the opportunity to have in this case, it's art, and it's for me, it's work in preparation, but just to have my art seen and for me to be a part of this bigger project and for that to be seen by eyes all over the world, that it's really humbling. It's cool. And you also realize how small the world is.
Yeah.
So
On that note, Kacy Owens, I'm going to turn it over to you now for the final 30 seconds. You might enlighten all our listeners, all our audience, why they should tune in, why they should go out to their cinemas at mass at the moment, to check out Burner, to check out yourself alongside James Oliver Wheatley, Akinya Weil, Randall J. Bacon, to watch Burner. And when they do, Kacy Owens, what's in store for them?
when you can, I know sh right now we're streaming. So, I know in the States, I'm not sure if it's hit you guys yet or the UK, but it's a good time. And honestly, the film has so much heart and the performances are wonderful. Like everyone top to bottom, there are no standouts either way. There's some really fantastic performances in there, but really there's just a lot of heart. And at the heart of it, it is a universal story of having your eye on the prize and doing everything you can to get there. And sometimes you realize you have to shed bits of your past in order to transform. And I feel like it's a universal message. Um, and there's a positivity there, but also there's some like kick-ass cool fighting. And yeah, it's just filmmaking in cinema at its most